with departures from promotions and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Blaming himself for being successful later in his pro wrestling career, WWE's World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest, who is 41, told the Rob Brown Show, "This is one of those gigs where you can't be half in, half out. You can't just talk about it and say, hey, I'm giving it my all, and really just say that for the pat on the back. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable. I went through it where I did that the wrong way for so long. That's why I always tell people that it took me so long to get to this level, but it was my own fault. It was because I didn't actually hold myself accountable. I didn't look myself in the mirror and say, are you working as hard as you can for your own dream? Because ain't nobody else going to work for your dream." Noting an NXT angle that has been dropped, Ringside News wrote that WWE NXT has quite a few ongoing storylines right now, but not everything can continue, and unfortunately it appears WWE has dropped a major ongoing storyline concerning Gigi Dolan. In case you forgot, Gigi Dolan had been engaged in a storyline with Ariana Grace in a series of vignettes where Grace is trying to make Dolan a graceful lady. It was largely comedic in nature and fans were enjoying it. However, according to Fightful Select, it was reported that Gigi Dolan was not backstage at the tapings for NXT this week, and that her storyline with Ariana Grace was dropped. The reasons for this have not been confirmed. As for Ariana Grace, she squared off against Lola Vice and lost the match. Only time will tell what WWE will have planned for Gigi Dolan, as fans feel she clearly deserves better. Asked about plans to eventually retire from pro wrestling, Chris Jericho told TMZ Sports, "I just went and saw the Stones last week, and Mick is 80, and you look at this guy and he lives on a different planet. I think it's because he's been doing it since he was a teenager. I think that's the same with me. You know, I don't see myself as 53. I don't feel 53. I don't work like I'm 53. I just do what I do. And I think it's more instinct at this point in time. There was a spot in that match where they literally dumped me on the back of my head, suplexed me on the back of my head, and I'm like, man, that's not good. But with years of experience, it's just another bump. You absorb it, continue, and move forward. If I didn't think I could still compete at the highest of levels, it wouldn't matter if I'm 53, 33, or 73, I wouldn't do it. I know what I'm capable of, and the last thing I would do is just be there for the sake of being here. That's not my vibe. I would never put a timeline on anything. It's like Kiss does a retirement tour, and then 2 years later, they're still on tour. And then 10 years later, they're done with it, or whatever it may be. I've never been that type of guy to put a number on it. It's how I feel." Recalling how he snubbed Vince McMahon backstage during the 2019 Hell in a Cell event, WWE personality Matt Camp, who has hosted the company's watch-along series on YouTube, said this on his own channel. "I went to catering, and catering was right next to Gorilla. I came in, and I'm following Vic Joseph, who was on commentary. It was his short run calling Raw. I'm following behind him, and he's walking up the ramp towards Gorilla. Vince McMahon is coming the other way. Vince is skipping. He's giddy. He goes to high-five Vic, and Vic blows him off. Now it's me and Vince. I'm there a month. I'm going, he doesn't know I'm there, and he keeps going. I found out that Vince made the commentators stay out there in Sacramento, and that crowd was so pissed. They're throwing stuff. I think Vic was upset about that. Why are you leaving me out there to get pelted with crap?" Vince loved the crowd reaction. Addressing the possibility of signing Becky Lynch to his promotion, AEW president Tony Khan said on the Rich Eisen show, "I don't want to try to tamper and do those things. I try to keep it classy, and I really have a reputation for honesty, and I really want to be a fair businessman. The wrestling business is a really cutthroat business." Ringside News added that when Eisen mentioned Becky Lynch, noting that she would reportedly be a free agent soon, and asked if Khan would be interested in her, Khan replied, "You invoked the tampering word." Taking to Instagram, Matt Cardona posted this video of himself receiving stem cell treatment.
I'm gonna do the shots. I'm gonna do the shots. It's gonna be.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Woo! Oh my god. Fuck. One more minute. Oh my god.
That's it.
Well done, pal. Holy shit. Oh. Fuck.
That's the worst one, huh?
Yeah. Holy shit. Let's not do that again. Let's not tear my pec again, please. Fuck. Oh. Oh my god.
Commenting on the recent NXT appearance of TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace, who will be challenging Roxanne Perez at the Battleground event, booker of the promotion, Shawn Michaels, said this to Adrian Hernandez. "Right now, a lot of things are still being worked out internally. There are people above me that I leave to making those kinds of decisions. What I enjoy doing is what we did last night, which is having the opportunity to putting real surprises and real oh my god moments back to WWE, wrestling, and NXT. That's what we had last night. I have been very public about being a fan of Jordynne Grace. I expressed to Triple H privately that I was very jealous that he had her for the Rumble. He owed me. We're thrilled to have her for Battleground and next week. This is going to be an epic event to one-up ourselves, which we always try to do. Having TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace contend for the NXT Women's Championship fighting Roxanne Perez is going to be really big. Following her victory over Tatum Paxley on NXT, Michin will now take part in a ladder match to determine the inaugural Women's North American Champion. She said this after her victory last night. "Know a thing or two about? Baby Extreme is my middle name. The last time I was in a ladder match, I busted my nose and still finished. How many of the other girls in this match can say the same thing? Can't think of not one. Intimidating? I haven't even seen her climb a step stool. So what is there to be intimidated about? You got Lita, the Queen of Extreme, and you got Michin, the Princess of Extreme. And on June 9th, it's going to be Coronation Day for the new Ms. North American Champion, Michin. I don't need luck. We got the skill." After appearing on NXT to unveil the previously mentioned NXT Women's North American title, Sexy Red could be seen meeting up with Shawn Michaels backstage.
Here we go.
All right. Perfect. 3, 2. Perfect. One more. Yep. And
This was said regarding the reaction to her appearance on NXT, as Ringside News noted that, according to Fightful Select, Sexy Red was praised by those who worked with her, stating that she was easy to work with. The rapper is excited to make more appearances on NXT television following NXT Battleground. Her involvement is also compared to the role of singer Poppy on WWE programming. As former AEW star Ethan Page made his NXT debut last night and laid out NXT champion Trick Williams, this was said regarding his contract status with Ringside News writing. According to WWE sources, Ethan Page is signed with the company, as confirmed by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp and Corey Brennan. Page was not seen backstage during the day and did not participate in rehearsals, keeping his appearance a complete surprise. It's unclear whether Ethan Page received a release from his previous company, AEW, or if his contract had expired, but he had mentioned to industry insiders that he was aiming to become a free agent by late spring. When news of his departure broke, the former AEW star had hoped to keep a low profile until he reappeared elsewhere, though it was uncertain if he meant WWE NXT specifically. Furthermore, Ethan Page's deal was finalized over the past week, and he made a secretive visit to the WWE Performance Center. Page is also the promoter for Alpha One Wrestling, though the future of that promotion remains uncertain. Lastly, sources within WWE expressed immediate satisfaction with his debut, and main roster insiders conveyed their excitement about Ethan Page joining the company. Ethan Page is in NXT. WWE sources have claimed to Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp and Corey Brennan that Ethan Page has signed with WWE. Ethan Page was not seen backstage throughout the day and was not present for the rehearsals. While we're not sure if Page got his release or his AEW contract had expired, he had told some in the industry that he was looking to be a free agent by the late spring. When word of his departure happened, we'd heard that he was hoping that it would go under the radar until he appeared somewhere else, though we aren't sure if that meant NXT specifically. We're told that Page's deal was finalized over the last week and at a secretive WWE Performance Center visit over the last week. Page is the promoter for Alpha One, though it's unsure what the future holds for that promotion. Sources we spoke to were immediately pleased with his debut, and main roster sources reached out to communicate their excitement about him joining. Ethan Page would also post this video following his NXT debut.
Everybody saw what I did last night. Literally everybody. We're talking millions of views across all social platforms. It's pretty heavy. I'd even say that's a bit of buying power for Ethan Page. Especially because, contrary to popular belief, Ethan Page is not signed to any company or any contract. And I'm gonna just assume that Trick Williams would love to get a little payback and revenge on Ethan Page. So, NXT, I'm gonna leave this one to you. Ball is in your court, and all ego is all ears. I'm gonna assume somebody in that company has my number. I'll wait for the call.
Mentioning a release from WWE, Ringside News wrote that WWE has confirmed another round of layoffs, including the dismissal of several long-standing employees. The latest layoffs were reportedly on May 25th, with initial details scarce about who was affected and the reasons behind their departure. Two of the individuals affected are Kristen Prudy, Senior VP of Entertainment Relations, and Tavia Hartley, Manager of Talent Operations and Appearances. According to reports from Post Wrestling and WrestleNomics, Beth Fisher, WWE's head of corporate social responsibility, was also let go. Adding to the narrative, PW Insider's Mike Johnson provided more insights, including the dismissal of Kristen Velez, a manager in the Talent Relations Department who had been with the company since 2001. Velez had a long tenure under WWE's former executive producer Kevin Dunn. The layoffs extended beyond individual roles, impacting the travel and marketing departments as well. All those specific names in these areas have not been disclosed yet. The report further highlighted Kristen Proutry's significant contributions during her two-decade tenure with WWE. Notably, she served as the casting director for the 2005 WWE Diva Search, which brought talents like The Miz and the Bella Twins into the spotlight, and facilitated several high-profile celebrity appearances. Prouty was also instrumental in bringing Logan Paul to WWE, underscoring her pivotal role in the company's entertainment relations. Recalling his experiences when working with former president of TNA Wrestling Scott D'Amore, AEW International Champion Will Ospreay told Adrian Hernandez, "I remember when I was back there for the Impact show where they announced that it was going to be TNA in January. I looked in the ring and I saw Scott D'Amore in there, and I can't tell you how much respect I have for Scott D'Amore. And like, if there was anything that I want to put out there, if there is a way that AEW could hire Scott D'Amore in any type of fashion, like have that guy run Ring of Honor or something, because the passion that he had for TNA and just how he completely single-handedly transformed the company. I watched him say that this is TNA, and I saw Josh Alexander in there, I saw Jordynne Grace in there, I saw Gazelle Shaw, I saw all of these guys, and I just looked and I was like, yeah man, that was TNA, that is TNA. All the guys that they got there now, that is TNA, man." Touching on an AEW departure, Ringside News noted Arn Anderson is grateful for his time with AEW but has other plans ahead. Arn Anderson will be leaving AEW and appreciates the opportunities he had with the company. Speaking on a live version of The Arn Show, the Enforcer revealed that his AEW contract expires on May 31st and he will be departing from the company. Arn expressed his deep gratitude for Tony Khan, praising him as a wonderful person and acknowledging the significant impact the AEW president has had on the wrestling industry by providing talent with an alternative place to work. Anderson also discussed his future in wrestling, stating that he believes in the talent and ability of his son, Brock Anderson, who is no longer with AEW. Arn wants to spend his remaining years in wrestling helping his son develop into a star. Arn Anderson's departure from AEW marks the end of an era, but his commitment to nurturing his son's career promises an exciting new chapter. Fans can look forward to seeing how Arn's experience and guidance will shape Brock Anderson's journey in the wrestling world. Going over another name no longer with AEW, Ringside News wrote that another AEW star has wrapped up his time with the company this week. It had previously been reported that Mark Henry's AEW deal was set to expire, and Henry confirmed that his AEW contract would expire today, May 28th, 2024, that he would not be re-signing with the company. However, he is not the only AEW star whose contract has expired, as we mentioned earlier today that Arn Anderson is leaving, and now Jake Hager. Previous reports hinted at Mark Henry's impending departure from AEW. Speculation he validated by confirming the expiration of his contract on May 28th, 2024, alongside his choice not to extend it. However, Henry isn't the only one bidding farewell, as Arn Anderson and now Jake Hager, whose contracts have also lapsed, joined the departure list. According to sources at bodyslam.net, AEW wrestler Jake Hager's contract has indeed run its course, with no indication of renewal, rendering him a free agent. This decision is reportedly mutual. Sources have confirmed to bodyslam.net that AEW star Jake Hager's contract has also recently expired, and he did not re-sign with All Elite Wrestling, making him a free agent. The decision was believed to be mutual. Hager debuted with AEW on October 2nd, 2019 on the premiere episode of Dynamite, where he joined the Inner Circle. Hager made his in-ring debut for AEW on February 29th, 2020 at AEW's Revolution pay-per-view, where he defeated Dustin Rhodes. Hager was later part of the Jericho Appreciation Society following the disbanding of the Inner Circle, but he had not been used much since the breakup of JAS in late 2023. Jake Hager's last match in AEW was a loss to Roderick Strong on the February 23rd, 2024 episode of AEW Rampage. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.